Hey guys, this is Professor Curtis, and today I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a drawing of a mulberry tree using the berries of the mulberry to make an ink and to draw the tree itself. So I'm here in McIntyre Park in Thomasville, Georgia, and I have gathered some mulberries. Just gone over and found some nice ripe berries. I have put them into a jar and used a stick to just to crush them up, and then used my handkerchief to pour off some of that juice. Kind of see it seeping out. You want to strain the juice from the fruits itself because you don't want the seeds and that sort of stuff in there. And then so that is the full setup, and then I have a small jar over here of actually some white vinegar. So I'm going to add just a few drops of that into another container here, and then that way I will add some acidity to the juice, and that will hopefully make it a little less fugitive. So that is my full setup here. I have gone ahead and sketched out, you see the mulberry tree there, and this is my sketch of the mulberry tree. So we can kind of compare side by side maybe a little bit. And then, so I'm going to use the mulberry juice here, and I have some I have this kind of portable kit with some watercolors and that sort of thing, and some watercolor brushes and an ink pen. And so I'm going to take a seat here. You can kind of see that I have some of the gathered berries still here. So if I need to make some more ink, I can. So right now I'm just going to be looking at the darks and lights of the composition, and I'm going to be focusing on the trunk. What's really interesting is this really rich red color typically turns blue if you don't add some kind of acidity to it. So once it dries, it actually turns a different color as it oxidizes. So I actually like to play with that and allow some of the ink to dry and oxidize, and then some I like to try to keep as close to the color as it comes out of the berry. And for this sketch, I don't really concern myself with complete accuracy of the tree. I'm more interested in the movement of the shapes and the way the marks and the shapes make a beautiful composition. You know, I certainly want the flavor of the subject, but I also want to be open to allowing the composition to inspire some beautiful lines and some improvisation into the composition. So while I'm using those original sketch marks as a guide, I'm not totally beholden to them. I like to allow the brush to kind of to find its own way. You can kind of see it shaping up. You can also see it getting very purpley blue now. It's really interesting how quickly, as the oxygen hits it, it's kind of like when we think of our own internal, when we think of our own blood, for instance. You know, blood is not red when it's inside the body, but once it hits the air outside the body, it actually turns that red color because of the iron. And so that is essentially the same kind of property, a different it's not iron, obviously, but a different property of the ink, the juice that you see changing colors right before our eyes. And I find that a beautiful, you know, these drawings are meant to be a kind of fugitive, temporary depiction of the subject. It's not these are not ones that I consider to be kind of permanent. Like if I was really interested in the permanency of this material, then I would paint with something a little more light fast, and something like ink or paint. But I love the way that the ink changes, or the juice kind of changes colors as it's going. You can really see how it's taking shape and changing as I'm talking. I mean, this has just been a few minutes here. So this is a very quick sketch, and this is a project I love to do with different materials. And I also encourage you to experiment yourself. Find different things that create a kind of pigment, whether it's something that lasts or not, and just try a kind of drawing with it. And takes very simple materials. It's very portable, and I find it a fascinating way of using natural materials to do something very creative. Just putting the finishing touches on this. All right. So there you have it. I will hold this back up to the tree itself. I see a drip is getting away from it. That's fine. There's your tree, and there is your drawing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much.